After I uploaded last video, I got many comments, emails, and messages. Thank you everyone. Having courage was indeed a good thing I did. This time, I would like to share what I gave up and lost because of Shincheonji. I cannot easily remind of what I gave up or lost since time quite passed. If anyone who wants to share what you gave up or lost because of Shincheonji, you're more than welcome to write comments down below. There will be some parts which are relatable or comforting to one another. I spent my early to mid-20s in Shincheonji. I saw ex-SCJ members who were also in Shincheonji during that age and gave up and lost many things. But actually, I think comparing those things are meaningless. Every person has different values, puts importance on different things. So that doesn't mean that someone lost smaller things and that doesn't hurt him or her at all. On the contrary, it is not right to disregard others' wound because of the reason that I lost things more than others. This video is not to beg for consolation, saying I lost these things so I am miserable, please comfort me. I am fine now. This video is for those who are in pain, still struggling with past experiences in SCJ. And also for those who have family or friends in SCJ, you can refer to this video to understand and help your beloved ones when they leave SCJ in the future. Some might think meaningless of discussing what I lost or gained at this belated time. But if you organize these, you can decide what you should do from now on. Since there are things I gained from SCJ experience, I cannot define my SCJ experience only in negative ways. I can develop good things from my experience. And the present becomes precious since I lost things from past SCJ experience. What I can do at that age. As I mentioned earlier, I was in SCJ early to mid-20s. I gave up things which university student wants at least once, such as famous university activities, exchange student, and dating someone. My major had an exchange student program which most of students enroll, even professors encourage students to join. But at that time, I was at the end of Revelation class and about to write the book of life. So I lied to my parents, gave up my opportunity to become an exchange student. I cannot go back to my university life, so it's quite sad for me. And as many people already know, SCJ do not encourage having boyfriend or girlfriend. Those who are dating each other with marriage in mind, those who are aged enough to get married, or those who are being persecuted severely because his or her family found out him or her in SCJ, are a little more permissible to date someone. You can easily guess why SCJ do not encourage dating. It's because SCJ member can neglect one's duty if dating someone, or if one person leaves SCJ, there is much possibility that another person will also follow him or her, or because of sexual problems. When I was in SCJ, I wanted to only focus on my duty, so I did. I was even careful when I was recruiting boys. Anyways, after I left SCJ and after COVID-19, I saw many hidden SCJ couples. My knee. SCJ members have to kneel down during each service while praying or waiting for manhili to come. If presider prays for a long time during the service, it's really unbearable. Especially tough in summertime. Youth were not allowed to take the elevator, so I had to go up and down the stairs. There was a time when I had bad knees. My knee pain disappeared right after I left Shincheonji. Money. I was in SCJ for 5 years, so can you imagine how much money I spent? SCJ members are obligated to pay offering, tithe, youth department fee, construction fee, gym fee, and etc. And others are not mandatory, but they sold DVDs, tapes, books, uniform, and etc. I cannot remember the rest of them. Sometimes they produce some stuffs and sold to members. Since SCJ's uniform for Wednesday and Sunday service is white and black, I bought white and black clothes. During SCJ ceremony or events and for Warp Summit, I had to dress up in formal clothes, so I bought some as well. If I was late for service or had to move to another place ASAP, or if there was an emergency gathering, I took a taxi. Department which I belonged to, sometimes we took quizzes and paid fine if I answered wrong. Moreover, I had to celebrate one another's birthday, gave presents, also needed money when evangelizing people since I had to have meal together, hang out, and etc. If fruit enters SCJ Center, I had to buy the Bible for my fruit. If I were to do the leafing at SCJ Center, I also needed money so that I can hang out with the fruit. Wow, this sounds quite a lot. As for me, I spent my money when I went abroad as a delegation. They do not support much money for delegates. And I paid fine on 2018 because I had no fruit. Even though I received allowance from my parents, I lacked money, so I had to do many part-time jobs. I also did mentoring program and got scholarship and used it for SCJ works. Surprisingly, at each and every moment I needed money, I had the opportunity to earn money. So at that time, I thought that money was from God, so I willingly used it for SCJ works. Now I decided to forget about the amount of money I spent there, thinking it as an investment for myself. I just reminded this in order to make this video. Grade. I did submit reports well, did team projects well, but there was a time when I didn't study midterm and final term, even didn't go to classes well. When I was a newcomer in SCJ, I wanted to win the first place in doing leaves so that I can have dinner with the church leader. So I skipped many classes, went to do the interview. Yeah, finally I won the first place, had dinner with the church leader. I have more episodes for this, but I won't share since it's too much. If I at least attended classes in my university well, my grade wouldn't be like this. I had to do lots of H2PL work, so I stayed up night, so I missed classes early in the morning. When someone asked me for leave, I skipped classes and went there. During H2PL Warp Summit, I didn't go to school for 3 days. Even while listening to classes, I was busy doing H2PL or Shincheonji stuff through laptop, checked Telegram messages, did live feedback, did note-taking, and etc. I should have studied hard with those kinds of passion, but anyways, I met conditions for graduation and did graduate university. My beloved sister, also a younger friend from school. This might be a bit long story. Even at this moment, this is a sad memory for me. Among the years in SCJ, I had a depressed, gloomy, crazy moments which I couldn't bear, being unable to die, and this experience is one of them. That sister was whom I liked more than my real younger sister in my family. After losing her, I cried every day at home listening to sad music. The meaning I lost her isn't that she's dead. I will explain now. Anyways, I wasn't consoled by anyone at that time. I couldn't tell this to my mom. No one in SCJ consoled me 100%. I was just told that you might be going through tough times, so have some rest and come back to your duty next month. The time when I tried to recruit her was in 2018 when Man-hee Lee commanded to pay 1.1 million Korean won if you don't have fruit. I was searching for fruits no matter what. At that time, I was recruiting 3 fruits at once as far as I remember. One was her and others were foreigners whom I recruited on the street. I wanted to be equal to all 3 of them, but somehow I cared that sister more since I knew her for a long time. Besides, she was a fervent believer at her church, and she had a great heart towards God. She loved God and His Word, but she was thinking of attending another church since she felt there is no love in her church, and that was the time when I tried to recruit her. Actually, her recruitment process was quite dramatic. I will call this sister A. I felt A was like a person whom God sent, saying deliver the truth to her, recruit her to SCJ. This experience is quite specific and detailed, so I was a bit hesitant to share, but let me share this story. A is a girl whom I knew since primary school. She was 4 to 5 years younger than me. She was so cute and I cared her so much. Even more than my younger sister in my family. I got to know A from one event in my school and became closer. When my class was over, I sometimes went to her classroom and brought her home. I even exchanged handwritten letters. Uneven handwriting, cute drawings of 8-year-old. I still have all those letters. I often went home with her, exchanged letters. When I went to middle school, I still exchanged letters with A through my younger brother since he was in same school. Later on, my family moved far away, so we were disconnected. After I went to high school, I found A in Facebook by chance, and we were in touch for a short while. Time passed, and one day I saw her profile picture background, and it was a picture of my university. I was like, no way. I texted A, and as expected, she was accepted to same university. We finally met after 10 years since primary school. I didn't ask about her faith, but she told me she's Christian. From then, since I knew A is Christian, I couldn't take it easy. In SCJ people's point of view, if a person is Christian, that person is the first priority. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, A confided to me that she's considering going to another church since she feels there is no love in her church. Those words sounded like, please recruit me to Shincheonji. I considered it as God's sign to me. So, of course, I started recruiting her. I met her a few times, had meals together, made memories, and at last introduced BB teacher, suggested the Bible study. I had to recruit before the end of December in order not to pay 1.1 million Korean won, so her BB teacher suggested Bible study 3 to 4 times a week. A answered, I will pray to God for his answer. I understood, she might pray for that and answer me later on. I was disappointed, but suddenly A closed her eyes right away and prayed. Then she said, God told me to do it. That's how A started Bible study 3 to 4 times a week. I firmly believe that it would be impossible if this whole process is not led by God. I gave a lot of affection for A. I had lots of affection for her also before, but now it grew much more bigger. If I were to skip the process and share the result right away, A at last decided to enroll in a CJ Center and had an interview. But the day after the interview, A found out it was Shincheonji and she blocked everyone who was involved. Since I knew her address, recruitment instructor gave me feedback to go and wait in front of her house. I didn't want to go. Honestly, I was afraid. Imagining A looking at me with angry eyes, I couldn't bear. But since I received feedback to do so, I went and waited in front of her house. It was cold, December, late at night. Her house was not even close from my house. While waiting for A, I thought, please, I don't want to encounter her. Just let this be a wasted trip. But I finally bumped into A, and when I was with A, her mom came as well. I cannot forget her eyes at me, her facial expression that day. It was a huge scar to me at that time. I had the worst time at the end of year 2018. I understand her situation and feelings. For A, whom I liked, a sister who was nice to me, was actually Shincheonji person and was recruiting me. It would be shocking and feel betrayed. and suddenly all the goodwill from me towards A would be seen differently. What I can say for sure is I loved A so much at the time, and that was why I wanted to evangelize her. Of course, if other fruits didn't turn out well, I felt bad, disappointed, and sad. But after A became like that, I was insane. I couldn't leave well. After leaving SCJ, I missed her a lot. I felt so sorry for her. My mom felt sorry for me and her as well. Now I just hope that experience would not be a trauma for A. I hope she's doing well. Hope she's keeping her faith and love towards God. Thanks for watching this video even until now. There might be more things I gave up or lost. But actually, nowadays, I am focusing on things which I earned through SCJ experience, not what I lost. I try to remind myself of past experience just in order to make this video. Even though I experienced many crazy things and went through hardships, even though there were good, happy moments, but hard and sad, painful moments as well, the reason I endured all those things was because of bigger hope I had. The hope which in Revelation chapter 21, verse 4 says, "The world without tears, no more death or mourning, crying or pain, the time when there will be no more death. Peaceful world without wars, world which God reigns, world without being apart from family and friends, being with them forever, hoping one day I will become the kingdom and the priest." Because of these, I could endure all the hardships in SCJ. I think those who are still inside SCJ, and especially those who are passionate and a fervent believer, have these kinds of hope. I will discuss what I gained from SCJ experience for the next video. And as I mentioned earlier, it would be good if you share what you gave up or lost because of SCJ down below this video as a comment. Don't you think you'll feel better if you share and shake it off?